is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We know what Chris Sale can bring. I was personally high on Schwallenbach. Smith Shawver, their other starter, looks okay to kind of bad. They need to I don't want to say tread waters. I think that puts it in a bad light, but that's what they ultimately need to do. They need to tread water until Strider gets back, until Acuna gets back, and maybe it's just part of the team morale mentality that we're not at full strength, need to kick things into gear once those guys get here.
Pro baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
I'm still optimistic eventually this will happen and they'll get it together. I mean, if Florida can get their act together, Sam, with the tribes, I believe that California can too.
It would bring a lot of money to the tribe, which is also something they really care about. It's an $8 billion market. Conservatively, it could be even more when it legalizes. The sports books would be sharing revenue with the tribes, essentially doing all their operations and forking over a percentage directly to the tribes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
After every round, you guys were still up in each other's face, mouthing off before you went back to your corners, trying to get not just the last punch, but the last word. What was the move between you guys? Obviously, you're in there for your fright.
It didn't cut him. It didn't stunt him. A point wasn't taken away. There's no reason to even mention something like that. You're in a brawl. Things are happening. Accidents happen.
Only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day on this marvelous Monday, Memorial Day Monday, as a matter of fact. Scott and Dave back on the saddle again until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, betting on the world of sports. Got a playoff hockey game starting shortly, playoff NBA doing the same, couple of baseball games to put some shekels on. And we got a little SGP, same game parlays, and as well as our 5 on the line, which we'll get to here in a few minutes, as we always do here on the grid. So busy 2 hours. So what's going on, Dave? How are you on this marvelous Monday? Hopefully you're doing well.
Good to see you, sir. Yes, I missed you. Thank you to Adam Kaufman, who's joining us later today, and Joe Madden for stepping up and filling in for me while you held things down here on In-Game Live Game Day. Great stuff. I'm good. I was going to call this a Minnesota Monday, maybe, for the basketball game. We can do that. Or this should probably be Elimination Monday if you're talking about the hockey game. Yeah, right? Like, we'll talk about all that. I wore the Arizona stuff. Guys from Pittsburgh, don't get mad at me, but the Pirates are out in Arizona. That game's getting ready to start here soon. So Diamondbacks are on a 5-game losing streak. The Pirates can't score any runs. That's going to be one of my plays early here before we get to 5 on the line, is under in this baseball game tonight in Arizona. So we'll start off with that. We got plays, we got interviews. Kurtz will be here top of the second hour, I believe, and then Cam Stewart. Despite the fact that Maple Leafs losing, Cam's watching hockey, watching golf, watching everything. Probably has French Open plays. Are you a tennis guy at all, Wetzel?
Yeah, but not French Open. Well, yeah, but I don't do the crazy things I do at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open at the French Open because they play in that dopey clay, and anything can happen on that. That is, you want to make money, just bet against the top-seeded women at the French Open, and you'll make some money. Guarantee it. First of all, it's so balanced anyway. On the women's side, upsets happen all the time, unlike, the top 5-6 guys on the men's side. But then you throw in the fact they're playing on clay, which is the dumbest thing in the history of sports. Yeah, you get all these overpriced women, and they lose all the time at the French. So I actually do like that. Normally, I bet all the favorites the other tournaments, but French, I go the other way.
You ever play tennis? You ever play tennis on clay? You ever been on there?
No. I can only imagine. I played on hard courts, and I know that's difficult enough. I couldn't imagine playing on clay. It's like the dumbest thing in the world. It's on ice skates. It's so stupid.
It
I
is.
mean, really.
I was going to say it is really, really hard, and it gets up in your head because a lot of the moves you go to make to go get a ball, you have to like keep your footing because you slide. But you
Right.
know, it's Monday. I'm back. You're here. It's 5 on the line time. Put that on skates. What do you got tonight?
All right, time for our 5 on the line best trends of the evening. All right, pick number 1. We go in descending order, 5 down to the very best one. Number 5 is a pretty good one, and that is OKC. Bottom line is they're 17-2 after losses this season, counting the postseason as well as the regular season. They just don't lose. And the one time they did lose 2 in a row was at the end of the year when everyone was sitting. They didn't even care about it. So for all intents and purposes, they're really 17-1. They've lost 2 in a row, basically one time, but we'll just say 2 times all season long. And not only did they lose, they got embarrassed in game 3. So where are we going to go? Pretty obvious. OKC, money line, minus 150 at Minnesota tonight.
How do you not like this? This
Right.
one, so obvious that, I mean, I don't think we're going to get anything close to what happened last game, but I think OKC wins. I like the game over, too. What's number 4?
All right, number 4, NBA as well. We gave this one out last week and it hit, so right back to the well because it's still a very good trend, and that is Minnesota Teacups, third quarter overs, now 21-6. Their last 27 games. So third quarter line's a little high tonight, but it is what it is. Let's go over 56.5, Minnesota OKC, third quarter.
This is getting deep in the weeds. This is a third quarter total over. Okay.
Desperate.
Great job with the graphics there. This is
Not
you don't
much,
see this. Not too many
yeah.
people are doing this. I got to give you credit. This is you only probably hear this on In-Game Live, but you know,
Not too
if you
many
heard it
games
somewhere
tonight.
else, right?
Yeah, they
Hit
stole it
at
from us.
opposite picks. Hit at Sports BK and Sig and tag SportsGrid. Appreciate it. What's number 3?
Yeah. Number 3, we'll switch to the ice. Listen, this is one of about 10 trends I can give you for this game, and it all points to Florida. Carolina, though, the best one. They've lost 15 straight conference championship games. I mean, forget the fact they're 3-9 their last 12 on the road. Forget the fact that Florida's 19-4 their last 23 at home. Just go with 15 straight losses for Carolina in this round for whatever reason. So we got to go, Florida minus the 175 tonight to close it out against Carolina.
I don't even know what the price would be where I would go, you know what? Maybe I don't really want to do it. Maybe 200, but I don't think so. Florida's been dominant. They've been dominant for a few weeks now, but this series totally dominated 16-4.
Yeah.
I would be shocked, and it would take a shutout by Anderson. They're going to only win this game if the Panthers don't score because they're scoring at least 2, and 2 has been enough. I think this series is over.
Yeah. All right, number 2 on our countdown from 5 down to 1. Baseball, reverse of over, and it's under. Arizona, 16-7 under their last 23 games. Pittsburgh on the season, 30, 22-3 under. So 2 pretty good under teams. So they're giving you a nice little number tonight as well, 9.5. Let's go under 9.5, Pittsburgh and Arizona.
Little stat for you here, and we'll throw them out, you know, as we do the show. But the Pirate rotation is actually 4th best in baseball in the month of May with a 2.80 ERA. Yes, it's not because of their pitching why they're losing so many games. It's because of their hitting, which means they don't score runs. Team total went under 26 games in a row, and only happened a couple times this past week.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot, Wetzel. I don't know if I like it as much as number 1. What's number 1?
Oh, you're going to like number 1. This is one right up your alley that I know you always appreciate. Number 1 trend for this Monday evening, baseball, San Diego. 10-2 on Mondays, dating back to last season even. So where are we going to go? It is a Monday, Memorial Day Monday. San Diego, oddly enough, only minus 146 at home against the Miami Marlins.
You have number 1, a day of the week trend on baseball. You've
Miami's
completely
2-5
outdone
on
yourself.
Mondays, if that helps you too. That really that kind of like makes it even more
You've
reason.
completely
But-
outdone yourself. A day of the week on a Monday. A Monday trend is number one. There's the 5 on the line list. Recap them for the people, please.
Yeah, little desperate tonight. Like I said, we try and give you games that obviously aren't underway already. So we did accomplish that tonight. Number 5, reverse order. OKC 17-2 after losses this season. So it's OKC. Minnesota over 21-6 third quarter. So team total or a game total over 56.5. Carolina's lost 15 straight conference final games in hockey. So Florida minus the 175. Arizona, nice little under. So is Pittsburgh. So under 9.5. Pittsburgh at Arizona. And then the number 1 trend, we got San Diego 10-2 on Mondays, dating back to last season. So why not? One more reason to bet against Miami. Minus 146.
But we could have used the Yankee game. You didn't use the Yankee game?
No, I couldn't find a good one. Because Yankees are an under team. Angels were an over team. There wasn't anything, 40 games over 500. 5 on the line. So bet them, folks, whether you like them or not.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And welcome back in Game Live, Game Day, Game Night, however you want to call it, right here on the grid. Scott and Dave, our number one on this Memorial evening. Hopefully you guys had a pleasurable day. Spent a couple of minutes just taking notice of what this holiday is all about and say some prayers for those that gave their lives for our great country here. So we've got a couple playoff games starting, including the hockey days. So that's the subject of our poll question. did a little tweak to it. Which playoff series, just to incorporate all the teams games, which playoff series, NBA and NHL, do you think will go the most games? Oklahoma City, Minnesota, which plays tonight, obviously. Indiana and the Knicks in the NBA, NHL, Edmonton, Dallas, and then, of course, Florida, Carolina, which, could end tonight. So we just posted it early on, so we only got a couple votes in, 26 votes. But right now, Knicks and Indiana seem to be with the lead 38.5%. OKC, Minnesota, 2 NBA ones, oddly enough. I would have thought Edmonton, Dallas would have gotten a few more votes, but again, it's early. We just posted it literally 2 minutes ago. So, but Knicks and Indiana, everyone's buying into that Knicks win last night. Are you?
Yeah, I don't think it's a question that after our show here in 2 hours that Knicks and Pacers is going to lead this poll by far. I don't think anybody's going to vote for Florida and Carolina, which is going on right now. This series is going to probably end. If it doesn't end tonight, it probably ends in Game 5, but I think it ends tonight. Dallas and Edmonton, you would think before the series would have gotten more votes, but I don't know. If you watch the last couple games, it doesn't feel like that's going to go much further than 5 games. Edmonton looks pretty dominant in the last few games there. And the other basketball game tonight, I don't know yet what to take away from OKC getting blown out in Game 3. I think it was more of a throwaway game, a flush it game. We used to say that to the kids when we were coaching them. Bad game like that, we're not even watching a film. We're not even talking about. Just flush it down the drain. It's over. Let it go. I think OKC bounces back tonight, which would put the series at 3-1, which would put the series at 3-1 with them a chance to clinch at home, probably as a 7.5 or 8 point favorite. So I think it's an easy vote. I think it's Knicks and Pacers.
Yeah, I would say them out of the two. But I think Dallas and Edmonton, I'm not giving up on the Stars, even though listen, I know it sounds wacky, but 6-1, could have been a complete different story Saturday. If they called a penalty, I don't know if you were watching the game, I know you had a bunch of things on your plate there, but there should have been a penalty on Edmonton for the guy flipping the puck into the stands. Instead, they missed the call. They said it was a deflection, and literally 20 seconds later, Edmonton scores a goal. So instead of Dallas, having a power play to maybe take a 1-0 lead in the second period, Edmonton scores, and then Edmonton scores 16 seconds later, and then you throw on top of that. So instead of a Dallas power play, rather, they're down 2-0, and then they tie, or they make it 2-1. They're all set to close out the second period, and Edmonton scores with 18 seconds left. And again, another woulda, coulda, shoulda. Instead of heading into the locker room with all the momentum in the world because they had just scored, instead it's 3-1 and basically ball game over. So it turned into a 6-1 affair. But it could have, it wasn't a typical 6-1 like we've seen with Carolina and Florida. It was a competitive 6-1 that just the breaks didn't go Dallas's way. So I'm not giving up hope on them to win this series.
It's reflected in the odds. I mean, because when you see those things, Carolina's at 45-1. That's a token like, just for fun, we have to keep that up, but we really hope that somebody bets that because 45-1 to win a Stanley Cup, they should probably be 45-1 to win the next 4 games, which is what they have to do to get to the Stanley Cup, only to have to win 4 more games. 7-1, I guess, is a fair price on Dallas. I don't know if you think they're going to win or have a chance in Game 4, then you probably should bet that right now because that's going to get slashed maybe in half, at least down to 4-1, because then they'll have the series back 2-2 with them going home. So the whole thing's interesting. Have you been into the conference finals in both the NHL and NBA like you have in the past? Or has it been, because a lot of people are saying, with this series, Florida dominating Carolina and both, places being down south, and Dallas and Edmonton being a replay of last year, that the hockey playoffs have been blah. Have you felt that?
No, I got 2 guys on the podcast that are big Edmonton. One's a big Edmonton fan. One's a big Dallas Stars fan. So they've been going back and forth. So that's created a little buzz for me. I thought Florida was going to get to the Cup Finals. I did have them losing to Colorado, but, since Colorado's long gone, I've kind of anointed Florida as the team I predicted. So I have a rooting interest from that standpoint. So, I've been into it, not more and less than any other year in which my Bruins aren't involved in it. I like this Florida team, Dave. I really do. Joe and I, Matt, did the show Saturday, and the line was only -150 in Game 3. So I'll throw you the same thing because the line is only 175 tonight, and they're underway, no score in the first period. And it's up to 192, but I saw it down to 175, so it's fluctuating in that area. So, and now that's a halfway decent number. It is, but I don't see how any way Carolina wins this game tonight. I mean, it just if it does, then it's a complete opposite pick because there's not a stat out there that says Carolina. I mean, they don't know who's in goal. Both goaltenders suck. Carolina on the road is 3-9 their last 12 road games. Florida, meanwhile, is 19-4 their last 23 at home. You gave the numbers 16-4 the 3 games. I mean, they've been completely dominated this series, Florida. I don't know what outside of, unless you're a Hurricanes fan, and even them, I'll give them credit for being smart. Florida's 10-3. Forget about this series. They're 10-3 their last 13 against Carolina. So this is a team that they've owned. I don't know how or why that line is actually not -2 and change. But as we saw Saturday, when it was only -150, and Joe and I were like, oh my, that's the greatest gift in the world. And it turned out we were all kind of like, what do the boys in Vegas know that we don't? And it was another easy Florida win. So
again, you just put up the number. You put up the number regardless of the situation, right? It's just another hockey game to a lot of odds makers. But it's not when you watch it because unlike the Knicks and Pacers, which have had 20-point leads blown both sides in a lot closer series, this hasn't been close at all. So we'll wait for the goal horn. When the goal horn hits, we'll probably be Florida, and it'll be -350, and you'll get your high price then.
Well, you like Florida tonight, though, right?
Yes.
You don't think Carolina? Yeah. All right.
Nope.
So, all right. Outside of a Hurricanes fan, how can you? Really? All right, SGP, same game parlay coming up next.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that
best
he wasn't as
quarterback
good as
prospect
Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers'
the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
I
It is
just told
incorrect.
you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing
him
your
because
thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have a
down on a
decent
tape
No, I'm
that
not
is
doing
incorrect
that. The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
there
pick
were 2
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the
Stop
history of the
it.
sport.
Quinn
Vince
Ewers couldn't
Young
even play at
and
Ohio
Quinn
State.
Ewers.
He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young
State.
and Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
And welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1 on this Memorial Day Monday, making some money with the boys in Vegas. No score so far, Florida and Carolina. NBA starts in a little bit. So with that, let's throw out our SGP same game parlay. All right, this is going to be a constant. You're going to get used to this game tonight, and that is the OKC Thunder laying 3 at Minnesota. Love this spot for OKC, so we're going to use it for our SGP. I'm going to lay the 3 here. Perfect, just a classic, perfect bounce-back spot. Not only did they lose Game 3, but they got trashed. They got embarrassed from start to finish. You know, if this was a regular season game, I would love them just as much as I love them now. They're going to come out flying. Let's go with Shea Gilchrist-Alexander, 30-plus points. Little juice to minus 160 will lower his number down from 32 to 30. Just to make sure he gets to 30 because he has gotten 30 a couple times, 31. We'll go Anthony Edwards, 25 or more from Minnesota. That's not that bad. I think he gets his 25. Chet Holmgren, 8 rebounds. Again, reduced number. He averages double digits. It's minus 172. And then Jalen Williams, 4 assists. He averages around 6 or so. That's a reduced number at minus 350. So we really took OKC and turned them, Dave, into a plus 66, in which I hate to even say 666. That's what it came out to.
Right.
I wanted to tweak it a little bit just so it wouldn't be 666 to tell you the truth, but it is what it is. So plus 666. Really, I'm doing an OKC and then Gilchrist-Alexander parlay and getting 6.5 to 1 because I don't worry about the other 3 pieces.
Not bad. This looks pretty good. Ant not getting his points, does that concern you? When I looked at that, I went, okay, which one is the concern? Or maybe, 1 or 2. If OKC blows out Minnesota, which I don't know if they're going to blow them out, but win by 8 to 10 is good. Win by 15 or more is no good. Because if they win by 15 or more, I don't think Ant gets his points. That's my concern. I'm with you. I like it. OKC. I would have used them on the money line. I don't think it's that much more cost-wise to use them on a money line. I don't think it's going to fall 1, 2, or 3. So laying 3 is good. But that's the one concern for me of the list.
Yeah. He's hit that 2 times now, back-to-back games. He laid an egg in Game 1. Wasn't exactly great in Game 2, although he got 32 points, but it was, on lousy shooting. He just went to the free throw line quite a bit and got the job done points-wise. So, yeah, that he would be the one. We would anoint him as the next Michael Jordan, and clearly he is not, But at home, I don't know if they would give up, especially being at home. They're always, going to be able to make somewhat of a run. So, like you said, they would have to be down 25 or so for them to really call off the Dogs. So he would, maybe Gilchrist-Alexander, but he's a 30-point machine to tell you, So, but maybe him just because everyone else is doing well. But on the road, if that was at home, I'd be more concerned. But on the road, you generally kind of lean towards your superstar players. And he played so poorly. It might be a Chet Holmgren just because it's Chet Holmgren and he's a big stork and he just doesn't get, for whatever reason, 8 rebounds. How dopey are those commercials, by the way? They all look goofy with the same. What is that? I mean, who does their makeup? It's like anyway.
I don't know.
We had a couple times last week. We were on fire with these SGPs last week. Out of the 3 days that I worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We hit it twice. So let's keep it rolling with
Stay hot.
666.
I love that. Quick update. Diamondbacks and Pirates got out of the first inning with no runs. That total that closed 9.5 is now 8.5 under. So we're already through that, which is good. And boy, the Dodgers are laying one on the Guardians right now. It's the bottom of the 7th. The Guardians have a couple runners on, but it's 6-2 in the 7th. Pretty impressive for the Dodgers after them, being in the Mets last night, right?
Yeah, MLB didn't do them many favors, right? That's the classic Sunday night road trip system, which has been pretty good. It didn't win last week for the first time, and I think if someone was playing Colorado, I think it hadn't been the Dodgers, tell you the truth. But, you play Sunday night, you travel, you play on the road Monday, and you lose. And not only were they playing on the road, they're here in New York, or at least we're in New York, then they had to fly to Cleveland. Not a long trip, but, long enough. It's not like flying from Philadelphia to Washington. But they played it early, early evening game. That was a, 5 o'clock game? So, that's a tough spot to, play late, Sunday night, hop on a plane, fly to Cleveland, get situated in the hotel, and yet the Dodgers up 6-2. So pretty good job by LA.
Definitely a good job. Good job by the Knicks last night to win and extend that series. We'll talk to Kaufman about that, the Eastern Conference for sure.
Yep, Adam Kaufman coming up next here on the Grid.
their college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side
Yes.
with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't
the
that
best
he wasn't as
quarterback
good as
prospect
Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers'
the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
I
It is
just told you
incorrect.
he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm
you're
buying
doing
him
your
because
thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have
down on a
decent
tape
season. No, I'm
that
not
is
doing that.
incorrect
The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
There
pick
were two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the history
Stop
of the
it.
sport.
Quinn
Vince
Ewers couldn't
Young
even play at
and
Ohio
Quinn
State.
Ewers.
He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young
State.
and Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
And welcome back. It is in-game live game day here on the grid on a marvelous Monday Memorial evening right here on SportsGrid. Scott and Dave, our number 1, as we welcome our good buddy who filled in for Dave last week, Adam Kaufman, to the program. Talk a little NBA, a little baseball, and who knows, maybe a little hockey as well. What's going on, Adam? We are underway hockey, but let's start NBA. We got a series, after Minnesota trashed OKC in Game 3. What are you expecting Game 4?
Happened in Game 3, obviously. Like you said, it was an absolute curb stomping on the part of the Timberwolves there. And what was a pseudo must win? I know not a literal one, but season on the brink, backs against the walls, you had to take that one. And this is a huge opportunity for them to try and turn this into a best of 3. I just don't see it happening. I was listening last segment, heard you laying the 3 as part of your SGP, and I'm completely in agreement with you. I think the Thunder win this game, potentially even going away. I certainly have them winning by margin, such a short spread that it is. This is a huge bounce back opportunity. I realize we saw a couple of covers early on in this series from the Thunder back in OKC, but the way they got embarrassed there in Game 3, it's not as though they just lost the game and, fell at the buzzer, lost by 5. They're in it, and then, free throws made it an 11-point game at the end. No, I mean, they were down 40-some points. I mean, this game could not have gotten uglier. The second half was irrelevant out of the gate. This game was over. It felt like, early in the second quarter, if not even before that. And so I just think things like that, they resonate. It's a little narrative street of me, I get it. But OKC, there's, an element of pride on the line here in this game tonight, and I think they respond to it. They're clearly the better team.
All right, so you're not buying into the Minnesota win in Game 3. When you look at the odds to win it all, I don't really think odds makers are much either to win the whole NBA championship. But the Knicks won last night, came back from down 20. Are you buying into the Knicks making it a series against the Pacers, Adam?
Well, just to respond to your first point about odds makers not viewing this as a series, no. I mean, it's not just the series price, which is exorbitant, obviously, if you were to invest in OKC, but the fact that if you look at the correct score market, Dave, you dive into this stuff, and the favorite, the shortest odds, barely above even money or right around plus 150, that vicinity, is OKC in 5. So nobody is dissuaded by what we saw there in that game 3. To your point about the Knicks and the Pacers, though, I do think that's going to be a series. I was on Indy coming into the series. I talked to you guys about it. I've been screaming about it to anyone who would listen. I felt like that was the right play going into the series, and being able to get Indiana plus money, it just felt wrong. It felt like stealing. I didn't make it didn't make sense to me. But all of that said, the Knicks, I felt, were the right side last night, and it didn't look that way for a little while. They were down by 20, and then did what both the Knicks and Pacers have been doing throughout this postseason, and overcome the massive deficit and win that game. And I do think we're going to get a long series. I still believe Indiana wins it, but I think this thing goes 6, maybe even 7. I don't think New York is dead in the water. They'll continue to put up a fight, lean on Jalen Brunson, and Tibbs will run his guys into the ground. But you're going to get some element of variance, which obviously you have seen from the Pacers kind of throughout, right? Game 1 is the Halliburton game. Game 2 is the Siakam game. Game 3 is a little more balanced, but ultimately it was kind of the cat game. It was the Towns fourth quarter and putting the team on his back. And so I'm really interested to see what we get out of Game 4. And I don't think Game 3 was a good sort of read on presenting any sort of trend for what to expect going forward, simply because, what's Tibbs going to do? Does he keep Mitchell Robinson in the starting lineup? Does he bring back Josh Hart? Even though obviously the minutes were still in the mid-30s, it's not like he didn't play, but he didn't start. He shook it up, came off the bench apparently at Hart's request, according to what's been floating around there in the media. So I think Tibbs could approach this a little differently. Plus, he had the Neesmith injury on the other side. He returned, but what does that mean for the depth of that team, Nembhard and Mathurin and some of these guys? So I think there's an unpredictability, a little portion of it anyway, going into this next game. But if I were to kind of pinpoint how the series goes, I think Indiana holds serve at home, goes up 3-1. It goes back to New York. The Knicks win that one, and then we're back in Indy for Game 6 that I think the Pacers wind up winning.
All right, we're looking for people. I'm looking for anyone. Forget people. I'm looking for the person who thinks Carolina's going to win tonight, Adam. It's no score, 5 minutes, 6 minutes left to go in the first. What side were you on in hockey?
So I didn't want to bet it straight, but I did invest in a favorites parlay, if you will. I did Thunder and Panthers on the money line together, and I think it was, I don't know, around plus 150, 160, something like that. Not a big play. I just, two teams that I felt like were on the precipice of, winning here tonight, and I wanted to invest in it. So, look, I don't see how anything that we have seen from the Carolina Hurricanes in this series could lead you to, this is when they respond. I mean, hell, Scott, we talked about it plenty throughout last week. This team has lost in the conference finals, 15 straight games, 16 straight, whatever it is going into tonight. And here in this series, you see back in Game 1, it's, I think it was 5-2. And then in the next game, it's 5-0. And then most recently, whatever it was, 6-2, 6-1, something like that. They've been so dominated here in this series by Florida. There's no mystery that the Panthers are moving on to their third straight Stanley Cup final, and they are emphatically the better team, if not the best team remaining in the NHL. But boy, can Carolina put up a fight tonight and make it interesting and at least take this thing to a Game 5? I'm skeptical, but what I will say is the early game script supports them. We've seen them give up early goals routinely to Florida throughout this series. The fact that it hasn't happened yet, and if they can go into this intermission, heaven forbid with a lead, right? But even just scoreless, I think, that's just got to be such a huge confidence boost for those Hurricanes players and coaches if they get to that point. As soon as Florida gets on the board first, if it ends up going down that way, that's when you're going to lose all the air and energy on the part of any Hurricane supporter. Remember, this game is, in Florida. It's not like the crowd is going to be leaving this game in any way, shape, or form. So I don't see how they get it done. They've shown nothing throughout this series to get us to believe.
let's swing into baseball real quick because it is Memorial Day. There's a couple games left that haven't started. The Red Sox lost earlier. It's Boston behind you. We'll talk about that at a different time. I didn't want to mention it. But the Yankees and the Angels tonight. Angels have a shot at all in this thing, or is this just the Yankees just move down to Anaheim and take 2 of 3 or 3 of 3 in this series?
Yeah, well, first of all, the Red Sox, I think, have Garrett Crochet in his last 5 starts has an ERA of like 2.1, something like that, and the team is 1-4. So it is just, I mean, it's not great being a Red Sox fan right now, watching this team that is just the dictionary definition of mediocrity. But yeah, obviously one of the teams they're chasing the American League East is the Yankees. I had some various parlays, money line parlays that I had in place today. Unfortunately, the Red Sox were a part of a couple of those and sunk, but I, leaned into some of these favorites, right? I had the Cubs, I had the Dodgers who are, doing their thing, the Mets who had that, heroic comeback and walk-off win. I've got, the team you're repping here, Dave. I got the Diamondbacks. I need a win out of them tonight. I didn't want to go near the Yankees and Angels game. Something about this game, I know New York is heavily favored and obviously is the superior team, but I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree. Something about this game just smells a little fishy, where I'm not going to be surprised if the Angels wind up winning this thing.
Yeah. Angels over the years, and I'm talking like 15, 20 years, the Angels and Red Sox are the two teams that have actually done very well against the Yankees. The Angels have like a winning record. It's amazing. Adam, great job as always, man. We'll do it again soon. Adam Crawford right here on the grid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers'
the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
It is incorrect. I just told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing
him
your thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have
down on a
decent
tape
No, I'm
that
not
is
doing that.
incorrect
The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
there
pick
were 2
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the history
Stop
of the
it.
sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young
State.
and Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1. So we got a little hockey, a little NBA starting here in a matter of seconds. In fact, they may have tipped off already. They just tipped off. And OKC's up to 3.5, interestingly enough. So we'll see what happens there. No score first period with the hockey, 2 minutes left. So, the Carolina playing some decent hockey here, Dave. Maybe they weathered the storm here. I think if you told Carolina you can get out of the first period in a scoreless game, I think they would have signed up for that. I mean, obviously they want to be leading, but at least they weathered the initial, surge that you figured. And in a lot of ways, Florida too, because you had to figure Carolina was going to come out flying, and they have. They're out shooting them 11-7. So
yep.
I think both teams probably would have said okay for a tie after one, although we have 2.5 minutes left.
No question. A big part of the game for them, they have to stay out of the penalty box. Not that they're not getting power plays themselves, but the Florida power play has been so lethal and so good. And just as I said that, Carolina just took a penalty. Carolina just took a penalty. So it was a 2-on-1. So it was a good penalty as far as a hockey penalty goes. I mean, he took away a scoring chance. So that's fine. But, so now with 2:20 left, they're going to the box. That's not good. So, wait, there might have been a makeup call too. So I think we're going to be 4-on-4. Yeah. Oh, wow. So something happened in response to that. I didn't see it, but so there was a response to that was bad. That was just an undisciplined play by Florida. So we're going to play 4-on-4. So now might be the time you get a goal, right? 4-on-4 hockey.
Right.
The total was down. Total was trending under tremendously. So let's click refresh. Let's see what we got. We got 4.5. So big juice to the over.
I just saw the penalty.
Yeah, it was not good. Not a good
That
penalty.
was a stupid one. Good, you said it. Good one for Carolina. Although, if this was the 70s and 80s, they would have laughed at as far as being a penalty.
Correct.
But then in response, you can't cross-check a guy in the face like this guy Schmidt did for Florida. I mean, I don't know if he was the one that was coming down that got penalized or it was away from the play. I couldn't tell that with the replay. But, you got to suck that up. You got a power play. Don't do anything stupid, right? So, all right. So 4-on-4, advantage Florida, 4-on-4, I would think.
I think it's actually it's not that much of an advantage. Carolina can play 4-on-4 too. So I think scoring chance wise, you're looking to get a goal. Either team right now. No one's playing this conservative. I don't think so.
Right. 3.5 by the way,
by the way. Oh yeah, they moved it down. Wow, I would have kept it right where it was. Because I think if a goal scored here, it goes right back to 5.5. Diamondbacks up 2-0, top of the third. They got 2 runs in the bottom of the second. And the Miami Marlins are up 1-0, by the way, against the Padres. So just to keep you aware of that one, because that one's on the 5 on the line.
Someone's got to tell Miami this is a Monday. They're not allowed to win on Mondays against San Diego.
Not on Monday.
Not on Monday. Can't get the Padres plus 104. Still batting is Miami top of the first inning with a runner on second base with 1 out.
Okay.
Going for, I thought that line was suspiciously low anyway, though. Minus 146, Padres at home against the Marlins, who stink, especially on the road. Although they did win 2 of 3 in LA against the Angels, who were playing great baseball. But I thought that was a little why wasn't that at least 155, 160? I mean, the Padres just took 2 of 3 at Atlanta. Now they're coming back home, and it was only minus 146. So
2-7 in their last 9, and only averaging 1.9 runs a game in that span. And just off the top here, again, these guys at MLB send me this stuff. It's great. Fernando Tatis is hitting just 150. He's 6 for 40 in his last 10 games, and Jackson Merrill's 7 for 43 in that same span. So they're not hitting, Scott. That's why that line is what it is.
All right. So stay away from San Diego for now. Even at plus 104. Arizona 2-0. Yeah, they're minus 620 now are the Diamondbacks, so that's unbettable. I did like the under 9.5. At least that was the trend anyway, as far as the under. And I liked it actually as well, the under 9.5. You might be able to get 6-7 runs out of Arizona and have Pittsburgh not score. What do you think of the Pirates, by the way, the GM this weekend, former Red Sox guy, Ben Cherington, saying they're not trading Paul Skeens. The fact that they addressed it makes me think they will. It's kind of like giving the manager the vote of confidence, and then you get fired 2 days later, right?
Don't say that.
Happened in Baltimore. The GM says, no, our guy is safe. And literally a day later, they fired him. So
they got too much club control. He's the star of the team. He's a nationwide known commodity. I mean, unless they're going to give some ridiculous, amount of players and
they would, right?
I don't
know. The open market.
Oh boy, please
no!
He's pitching Wednesday in Arizona. I don't want to hear this. Come on.
If I gave you the 3 first-round overall, well, not overall, but 3 first-rounders for the guy, would you take it?
I'd rather they keep him and build around him. I mean, how many times we got to go through this rebuilding process? No, I don't want to. No, I like Skeens every 5 days. Why?
They're not going to build around him because they don't. It's the Pirates. It's the Pirates. I'll tell you, he's going to be a Dodger or a Yankee by the end of the year. Probably a Dodger.
Right now. I might get up off the show right now. I mean, you could have said the Mets, at least. The Mets would have said the Mets.
They can't trade him to the Dodgers. There would be such an outcry that it can't happen. Major League Baseball would step in and just say, we can't have this. The Dodgers are loaded. We can't. Stankies, and those days are kind of past us. Mets would probably be next on their rung of like, no, you can't do that either. Padres, maybe.
Huh?
Maybe the Padres.
Okay. Tigers?
Maybe the Red Sox. Get them out of the conference. We got a lot of great. Yeah, how about that 1-2 punch?
Wow, that'd be. I'd bet them to win the World Series right now.
I don't know about that, but.
What do you mean? They got the best record in the American League. What?
I know, but they're beating a bunch of cupcakes. Put them on the Red Sox. Now we're talking World Series. Black Cloud coming up next.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
does.
They
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
It is incorrect. I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take that is incorrect.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
pick. There were 2 perfectly rated quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Flying along, hour number 1. Almost done. We got to do one thing before we close out hour number 1. That's our Black Cloud Play of the Day. right, back on fire with our Black Cloud. Not that we ever were off it, but we hit all three. In addition to hitting a couple of SGPs last week, we hit all three Black Cloud plays, including one that was in-game live. How about that? So to the well we go. NBA game is just underway. But there wasn't that much to choose from. So we're going to go with OKC, Dave. Same kind of thinking as that we've had with the SGP. I don't like to double down and triple down in a lot of ways, but you know what? I would be very surprised if OKC lost. We said it 17-2 straight up after losses, and really one of those was a throwaway game. They didn't even try. 3 of those losses have come here in the postseason. Minnesota's good, but it's kind of like the Knicks that we'll talk about here in a little bit more. Remember when I told you when the Celtics beat the Knicks in Game 5 and they blew them out? And I said, you know what? They would have been better off winning by like 5-10. Take the Knicks' best punch, show that they could win. Instead, they blew them out, and I said the same thing was going to happen in Game 6, except on the other side, and that's exactly what happened. Same thing here. I would have been more impressed with Minnesota had they won by 5 to 7 points versus by 47 points. So, long story short, I think OKC responds. They have all season long. They are the better team. On the money line, OKC minus the 150 against Minnesota just underway.
I like it. They're up 18-17 right now, so the price you got there, minus 150. It's a little bit more expensive right now because we're halfway through the first quarter,
right?
And they're up 1, so minus 170-ish or so, depending on which book you're looking at. It's good. I mean, I don't normally say that, but I'm with you. There's times where you just got to kind of push all in a little bit or make a play, and I think OKC tonight is the play.
Yeah. Wouldn't qualify as a PP public parlay, but I can't find anyone that likes Carolina, and we haven't spoken to anyone that likes Minnesota tonight. And listening to some of the shows this afternoon, like everybody thinks what I just said, that OKC is going to respond. So that's a little disconcerting. I don't like being on the side of the public that much. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Want to start keeping track of this stuff, Dave. We bring it up all the time. The PP, the public parlay. Like this weekend, we were doing it with the baseball. And the Yankees at Colorado and Philadelphia at Oakland, Sacramento was the PP, right? I mean, how could you like Colorado? Philadelphia's been playing great. A's had lost 9, 10, 11 in a row. And yet that combination, that PP, only hit one time. And it didn't hit ever out of the 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where you were laying a run and a half. The one time it hit was Saturday when the Philadelphia Phillies had a 4-0, and this was a tough one because I had it. They had a 4-0 lead heading to the bottom of the 9th inning, and they gave up a 3-run homer and only win 4-3. So the PP, the public parlays, it is amazing how many times they do not hit. I want to keep track of it. You don't get it every day.
No,
but it's remarkable how there's always one team out of the 2 or 3, if you want to use 3 teams, that just finds a way to lose. It's remarkable.
It's crazy because after today's loss to the Cubs 3-1, the Rockies are now 9-45 on the year. They've only been favored 2 times of the 53 games there, or 54.
Wow.
39 of their losses is by 2 runs or more this season, and you didn't get it over the weekend. That's hard to believe. It happens. I can tell you this from all the years behind the counter. It happens. The PP happens more in baseball than I think in a lot of other sports. And it happens in basketball after the All-Star break. You get a couple teams that are mailing it in or with this lottery and they're just tanking and stuff. But that's when it happens the most. The NFL, everybody's waiting to bet football. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it doesn't happen nearly as much there. College football, maybe a little bit, especially early in the season. But when you get into conference play, those PPs are no good. They are no good. They get you bad. And I don't know. Hockey's hockey. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Nothing consistent.
Yeah. Like the hockey favorite to me is the one that consistently loses, like the 3-1 favorite.
Yeah,
we see it all the time. They just do. It's the weirdest thing, right? Yeah.
The goalie determines everything. Goalie can beat you.
You put the backup goalie in there and everything else, so things all get screwed up. So, all right, hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2 coming up next.
your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side
Yes,
by side
yes.
with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't
the
that
best
he wasn't as
quarterback
good as
prospect
Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers'
the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
I
It is
just told you
incorrect.
he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm
you're
buying
doing
him
your
because
thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have a
down on a
decent
take
season. No, I'm
that
not
is
doing that.
incorrect
The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over a
not, though.
7th-round
There
pick
were two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the
Stop
history of
it.
the sport.
Quinn
Vince
Ewers couldn't
Young
even play at
and
Ohio
Quinn
State.
Ewers.
He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young
State.
and Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
And welcome back in Game Live, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott and Dave till 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be Cam and Gabe taking over for the next 2 here on the grid. We got a little hockey, a little NBA, and some baseball stuff. So let us welcome in our good buddy George Kurtz, who we see it here all the time here on SportsGrid. Talk a little pucks and a little baseball. What's going on, George? How are you on this Memorial Day?
Well, certainly doing pretty well now. Dodgers just beat the Cleveland Guardians, so that's a cash for me. As I think the Dodgers will be a little angry after losing 2 out of 3 to the Mets and take care of Cleveland today. So getting off to a good start today. Now all we need is the Florida Panthers to put away the Carolina Hurricanes.
We'll get to the hockey
Another guy
in a
in
second.
Florida.
Yeah, that's everybody is. We are too. That's fine. We'll get to that in a second. It's Memorial Day Monday. Memorial Day's always been about baseball for me. Hot dogs, hamburgers, all that other stuff. You got Yankees and Angels coming up, George. I got a couple numbers here for you. The Yankee starting pitchers lead the majors with a 2.41 ERA in May. Nobody would have said that in April. They've won 13 of their last 17 games. Just short of about 180 right now against the Angels tonight. Any shot that Captain Chalk would consider the Angels tonight, or is this Yankees, Yankees, Yankees?
I'm actually on the Angels tonight, so there you go.
What?
Yankees they beat Colorado 2 out of 3. They did not look good beating Colorado. They played a little lethargic there. Anaheim is not usually a great place for the Yankees. All right, that's not something a place they've dominated, no matter whether Anaheim's good, bad, or indifferent here. They're starting Yarbrough tonight. It's pretty much a bullpen game here. We'll see how that goes for the Yankees here. Just more of a gut feel. I mean, the Yankees did not look good in Colorado. All right, you take away with 10 runs they scored in the 5th inning on Saturday, and I know people, it always annoys me when people say that. Well, we take this away. Well, that counts still. But if we take that away, the Yankees didn't score 10 runs in the other 3 games combined. All right, so they're having trouble scoring a little runs. I don't think they're going to necessarily knock around Kochanowicz tonight here. So it's more of a, hey, it's not one of their top starting pitchers. Like I said, it's more of a bullpen game here. They haven't looked all that great offensively here. I'm going to take a shot with the Angels at plus. I know it was big-time plus money earlier. That's when I took it. I thought it might go down. And it's still nice big plus money here. So I'm going to take a shot with the Angels here at plus 148.
Yeah. I've said this before, George, earlier in the show. The Angels are one of the few teams that really historically have done well against the Yankees, and even recently. Last year 3-3, 2023 4-2, 2-4 the year before that, but then 4-3 the year before that. For whatever reason, even when the Yankees were really good and they've been really good, and the Angels have been really bad and they've been really bad. They've always, going back to the 70s, I'll date myself, I remember this dopey Angels team always giving the Yankees fits for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know a reason why. Yankees have always played, back when the Athletics played in Oakland, Yankees were always terrible there as well. Probably worse than they were against the Angels. I think, listen, it's the out west, right? They just don't play all that great out west. Like I said, the obvious right now is not hitting on all cylinders here. Not only forget about Colorado, they didn't hit again when they played Texas at Yankee Stadium last week either. Sure, they swept the series here, but as Dave just told you the numbers, it was because of the pitching, not the hitting.
Yep, no doubt. I've been at these Yankees-Angels games. Me and the wife used to go and make this a trip, try to go to one or two of the games at a series. It's packed. The Angels draw great, and they're always rooting against the Yankees. So it's a fun series. I don't know if it's a fun series in Edmonton and Dallas, George. I think Edmonton's really taking control of the series. Scott's not ready to just say Dallas is done, but what do you think? How do you think Game 4 is going to go tomorrow? As a hockey guy, I look at it and I think Dallas has to absolutely either get super physical, do something, because Skinner looks really comfortable in net for Edmonton.
I think they need to get in Skinner's kitchen, right? Maybe bump him a little bit. I'm not saying anything dirty. Bump him a little bit, try and get him off his game, because we've seen that happen with Skinner. He can get off his game, then he'll do some strange things there. So I think they have to do that there. Now, we don't know if Rupe Hintz is going to play. All right, the board said today that he's day-to-day. Listen, he could have his leg amputated, then he'd still be day-to-day. We know Connor Brown is out for the Edmonton Oilers here, second-line wing, and obviously not one of the important guys, but a nice depth player for them. Listen, I agree with Scott. I don't think Dallas is done here, but Edmonton, they've controlled the series. 9 periods. Coming into yesterday's game, Edmonton had won 4 of the 6 periods, and 1 period was a tie. Maybe give another tie yesterday, and then Edmonton wins the other 2 periods. They're controlling the series here. The big goal yesterday, no doubt, was McDavid scoring at the end of that second period with 18 seconds left. All right, that you just heard all the air go out of Dallas, and then they got crushed in the third period here. I think it's important for Dallas to score the first goal tomorrow, get some confidence back. Hey, if they can pull out a win tomorrow, they're right where they should be. This series should be tied 2-2 after 4 games, and they have 2 out of 3 games in Dallas. So I'm not ready to say they're dead. That being said, and I did bet on Dallas pre-series. If I was going to rebet now, I think the Oilers are going to win the series.
Here's my problem, guys, with hockey, and this is why hockey will always be a secondary sport, mainstream. If you saw the end of that game, right, they're getting their ass kicked, Dallas 5-1, George, right? But they got a power play with 5 minutes left. I'm saying to myself, what's the difference? Let's pull the goalie, let's skate 7-on-5, and let's get a goal, make it 5-2, and who knows, crazy things happen, right? But does Goopball do that? No, he does not. He sits there with that blank, dumb stare on his face. God, I don't like him at all. I really don't. And they end up losing 6-1. They give up a goal anyway. So I don't understand why these coaches, they're so Neanderthal-like. It's so straight and narrow. Why wouldn't you pull the goalie there? Who knows? Give your team a chance. Why don't hockey coaches do things like that, George?
I don't know how that makes a hockey a secondary sport because of that.
Because there's no critiquing and analyzing and debating and yelling and screaming. It's just like straight and narrow.
You don't do it here. Like in Canada, that probably there's discussions all the time. Like it's Florida and Carolina, it's Edmonton and Dallas. Like, Scott, I don't think we have the debate we would have if it was the Rangers or it was, Boston, like a traditional hockey franchise. George, should he have pulled the goalie or no?
Yes, I actually agree with Scott. He should have pulled the goalie.
Thank you. Of course he should have.
I do. I would have pulled, as Scott said, 5-1, 8-1, 9-1. Who the hell cares? All right, it's a loss. Right. And listen, like I said, the Carolina Hurricanes tonight, if they go down third period, I'm pulling. I don't care if it's 1,000-1. I'm going home. I'm golfing tomorrow. So pull the goalie. Yeah, I would have pulled the goalie. I would have. Like I said, it just didn't make a difference at that point. At least you score a goal, maybe give yourself some confidence going into game 4 as well. It's another reason I would have done it here. So I said, my part was I don't think it makes it a secondary sport. We've seen lots of coaches give up. You know, in football, we see coaches start running the ball, even though they're down 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. They just run, so they want to get the hell out of here without getting anybody hurt. In baseball, one of my biggest pet peeve right now is when they bring in these position players and they're all just lobbing the ball. Why can't we throw the ball hard? I'm not saying fire the ball as hard as you can, but come on. Why are we lobbing? I don't understand that. So that's giving up as well here. So I don't like any of it, but I can't say I'm surprised either.
All right, no score Carolina, Florida. Where are you going with this one tonight?
Yeah, you already know I'm on Florida. I mean, if you're betting Carolina, what are you doing that on? Gut feel? Prayers? Hope? Maybe because Reinhardt was out tonight, and so is Mikula, and so is Greer. I guess you can go that direction, but they've been outplayed pretty badly here. No, so I was on Florida. Got a couple of anytime goals for Florida as well. And, of course, right now it's a scoreless tie here going into the second period. Yay me.
Yeah. I think the longer it goes, I mean, the better for Carolina. But I agree. It's like, outside of just being a diehard Carolina fan and you want to throw your money away, I can't. We haven't found anyone that likes Carolina tonight. You watch, though, they win 2-1. It's amazing. So, George, great job as always, man. We'll do it again soon. Thanks.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all. It's
too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
Whoa. Oh, whoa. Thanks to George Kurtz joining us here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. Update our poll question of the night. Which playoff series is going to go the most games? Listed all 4 remaining, 2 in the NHL, 2 in the NBA. And not surprising, I suppose, Indy and the Knicks lead the way 45%, almost 46%. And then we got Edmonton and Dallas, 31%. OKC, Minnesota, 21%. And then Florida, Carolina at 2.5%. So at least they got some votes. So at least there's some Carolina Panther fans out there, so that was able to vote on that one. So go to my feed at Opposite Picks or Dave's feed at SportsBKConsig. Or SportsGrid or SportsGrid TV, and get your vote in. We'll update that a couple more times before we're through. Here's what I was talking about, Dave. And still no score after, well, not after, but into the second period now. Nothing, 5.5 minutes in. And then the NBA is OKC leading Minnesota 39-32. They just begun the second quarter there. Yep. But here's what I was talking about as far as the hockey and why it'll always be a fourth sport. It's not because there's nothing to challenge for the average fan. Football, right? You're going to go for it on 4th and 1. You're going to punt the ball. You're going to go for a touchdown. You're going to go for 2. You're going to pass on 3rd and long. You're going to throw it. There's so many things. Baseball, you want to pull a reliever, keep the starter in there, pinch it, lefty versus righty. What are you going to do? Basketball, not as much basketball when you use the timeouts, who's on the court, get this guy back on the court. There are things that the casual fan watching can yell and scream at the TV set and then yell and scream afterwards when his team loses. You don't have that in hockey. No one's breaking down lines like, oh, the coach should have put the 3rd line in there, right? There's nothing. There really is. Outside of pulling the goaltender, that's it in hockey. And I think that is a major reason why fans don't gravitate to hockey, because they love to bitch and complain, right? We're all married. We're used to that. We have that in our lives. We want that. We need that. We strive for that in sports. And we don't get it with hockey. So it's kind of like it's just there.
I've never heard this before. This is the first time in my life that I've heard this argument. And I'm not going to lie, it actually makes a little bit of sense. It actually makes a little bit of sense because the coaches put the lines out, and the second coach, the home team coach, gets to match the lines. Then if the players decide the game, if it's not the officials, the one thing that I think all hockey fans can agree to complain about is the officiating. But in the playoffs, they don't, because the officiating stays out of it for the most part. So maybe when you pull the goalie, when you don't, something like that, okay. Who you start in goal, maybe something there. But for the most part, you're right. It's decided by the players, which is the reason why I love it. It's as much decided by the players as any sport in the world, right? Soccer coaches, they throw out guys and there's substitutions here and there, but kind of the same thing. And I think hockey and soccer have some similarities. But boy, that's an interesting argument. We're going to have to ask that question multiple times and keep an eye on that, why there may be something to that. I never once thought of that. What is the complaint about basketball then? Like, what do you get to complain about?
When to do a challenge. In basketball, you could see the 5 guys on the court. So if you have a star player that's on the bench, you're yelling and screaming, get this guy in there. Why is he on the bench? Why is the guy on the court who's playing lousy? Not as many basketball-wise, especially since NBA, for the most part, they play zone, or they play man-to-man, rather. Maybe in college, you could scrutinize why are they in a man-to-man versus the zone and vice versa. Not nearly as much, but still, at least you have something you could see. You don't see that stuff when you're a fan watching on TV with hockey. And and I don't mind that. I really don't, like you said. But I just wish the 1 or 2 times a coach, it's like the NBA head coach that I yell and scream about. You're not a head coach. You're not. You put the 5 guys out there, you let them play ball, right? But the few times you could be a head coach, calling timeouts, the right time, using the challenges the right time, designing a play in the final seconds where you actually get a shot off, unlike what the Mope in Boston did. I want to see you be able to show you're a head coach. And it's the same thing in hockey, right? The one time the guy can go out of the box just a little bit, it's 5-1. You can't expect a miracle to happen if you don't allow it to happen. Pull the goaltender. Just be a little. What do you think? Someone's going to criticize you because you pulled the goaltender down 5-1? I mean, it's just like they just don't do anything out of the box in hockey. Nothing.
It's funny because comparing the two while you're talking in my head, football is the ultimate. I mean,
yeah, second
ultimate
guess, right?
Second guess. Like it never stops. And in the book, it's annoying as hell because it's bet related. Like I used to listen to guys complain, you should be doing this because they're holding a +7 ticket in their pocket. Or how did they not go for it here? Because we got over 41 and they punted, and we should, we needed to keep going for it. So it's more gambling related. But now with the proliferation of sports media and sports gambling media all over, I see it more and more. That is ultimately noise. I cannot take all the football second guessing. I'm not a big fan of that, but I think fans might be, and football is king, so makes sense.
Yeah. No score, Carolina, Florida. Still giving you 3.5 plus 135.
Unbelievable.
13.5 minutes left. I'm debating in my head: do I take the over 3.5 at plus 135 now, or do I wait like 2 minutes? And I know it's going to go to 2.5 minus money. I might wait.
I think you could. Well, I think you could go over 3.5 because you're getting plus money. But if you want to go under 3.5, and then get to over 2.5, are we getting more than 3 goals in this game right now?
I think so. We just got to get that first one. Once you get that first, especially if it's Florida, then Carolina's really going to be sweating, facing elimination. Then they'll start pinching the defense up, and then get little 2-on-1, 3-on-2 backdoors. I've seen, whenever it's 0-0, and it looks like it's going to stay 1-0, right? You get that first goal, it just kind of opens the floodgates up. So I think we do get 4. I do. To tell you the truth, I would grab it. I put a half a shekel on it now. Let it get to 2.5, and put another half a shekel on it then.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers'
the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
I
It
just
is
told
incorrect.
you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm
you're
buying
doing
him
your
because
thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have a
down on a
decent
take
No, I'm
that
not
is
doing that.
incorrect
The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the history
Stop
of the
it.
sport.
Quinn
Vince
Ewers couldn't even play at
Young
Ohio
and
State.
Ewers.
He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young
State.
and Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. So we got a little NBA, a little hockey, couple of baseball games. So Oklahoma City and the NBA. You were dead on, Dave. We were talking during the break here about the over that you said you liked. Unless something crazy happens. I know it's only second quarter, but it's going to sail by the 218, 219 number, whatever one you got this afternoon, because it's 53-44 OKC with 6.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. The over-under is at 242.5. Yikes.
Yeah.
OKC's up to 6.5. Little surprised it's not a little bit more than that, but okay. And then the money line minus 295. But the points are just flying right now. They're coming strong.
It's so funny because I said it years ago in the book, and I still say it now. Everybody remembers those games where, you make a football game 42 or 41, and the final score falls on the total, a 7-point spread. So, it falls 31 to 10, lands right on the number, 41. How'd they know? Oh, boy, they nailed that one. They got it right. And then there's nights like this, nobody talks about, odds makers and books missing by 30 points. And I'm not saying it's done. This thing might come up to 250. The way this pace is going, if the T-Wolves keep in this and forcing OKC to just keep running and scoring. So 53-44 with 6:45 left in the second quarter, and we're already up to an in-game of 241.5 or 242.5, depending on where you shop. I don't think it's done. I really don't. I think the top of the market might be the 250 number. So not that we'll get there, but this is one of those situations where you're just off and you just chalk it up like, pregame. So what? You get it back in game. You think anybody's betting under right now? Under 241.5? I don't think I would. No.
You can't. Not the way they're playing. Now, if it gets to 250 and we get to halftime and they give us a 125-point second half, I might, but if they keep it at around 100-point second half, 110, then I can't go under. Even though when you take a step back, it's like 250 points in regulation. That's a lot of points. It is. Yeah. And it doesn't take much for it to go under. You have one team that just slows the ball down just a little bit. But the pace is just, it is on pace for like 260. This is like a regular season game. Numbers-wise.
SGA has 13 points. So I'm looking at that. Ant only has 2. That's the one that's
really
concerning for that. Wow. He only has 2 points. Yeah. So he got to get going for that same game parlay.
He's got to take some shots. They lose this series in 5. Now, he had 30 and 36, I think it was, these last 2 games. But he was awful in game 1. I told you that the shooting wasn't great in game 2, in which he got 30+. If he, listen, they got 44 points, but they're down 9. So pick which one you want to choose. I'll say they're down 9. He only's got 1 shot. I'll take the 2 points. I won't like it, but I'll take the 2 points, Dave, if he's 1 of 7, 1 of 8 shooting. I won't take the 2 points if he's played 13 minutes like he has and he's taken 1 stinking shot. Really?
Jeez. Yeah, what are we doing? Well, how's that even possible? I don't even understand how that's possible. I'm not watching. I got the hockey on, so it's still 0-0 there.
Me too.
Wow. Why do you only have 1 shot? If you guys are, watching us, text us or tweet at us at SportsBK Consig for me, at Opposite Picks, tag SportsGrid. I'm curious. Why would he only have 1 shot? Now's not the time to defer unless he's being double and triple covered.
I doubt it in a game that's 53-45 with 7 minutes left. It sounds like they're going up and down the court. I don't think they have time to be doubling guys, right? Is he conserving his energy for the second half? You want to go there, maybe? But one shot? You and I can get off a couple of shots. Might not make them, but we'll at least get off a couple of shots.
I don't think so. I don't think I could get up a shot. I could shoot it, but I don't think it would get actually to the rim. I think it would get swatted, blocked.
How about this? Julius Randle only has 2 shots. So their 2 best players, Randle and an AE, right, offensively anyway, have a combined 3 shots and now 6 points as Edward just hit a couple free throws.
Unbelievable. Speaking of shots, it's 18-9 Carolina, 9 minutes left, still scoreless. Pretty good hockey game.
Oh,
really good hockey
not
game.
anymore. Where's the horn?
Uh-oh.
We need the horn.
What happened? Hit it.
We
Vincenzo.
got a goal.
Where's the horn? Carolina?
Carolina. How about that?
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side
Yes,
by side
yes.
with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't
the
that
best
he wasn't as
quarterback
good as
prospect
Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers' program?
the entirety of the time that
No.
Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a seventh-round pick,
Quinn
Arch
Ewers'
Manning is
team.
not that good and not deserving of being first overall is
Yes.
asinine. It is wrong.
I
It
just
is
told you
incorrect.
he's going to be number one overall. My whole thing was I'm
you're
buying
doing
him
your
because
thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have a
down on a
decent
tape
season. No, I'm
that
not
is
doing that.
incorrect
The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a seventh-round
There
pick
were two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the
Stop
history of
it.
the sport.
Quinn
Vince
Ewers couldn't
Young
even play at
and
Ohio
Quinn
State.
Ewers.
He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young and
State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
All right, we got a goal in hockey. How about that? It's taken us, 33 minutes or so, but we have a goal, and it was the Carolina Panthers. Welcome back in Game Live, Scott and Dave, hour number 2 here. So Logan Stankoven getting the goal at 10:45 of the second period. So 1-0 Carolina. Right now, the odds say, Dave, Florida's plus 158. Wow, that's not bad. You got 6.5 minutes now left to go in the second. You're getting a pretty good number there on Florida, the home team. Over-under is 3.5. Now you're not getting positive money, though. It's minus 115. I said it during the break. I bet you we get another goal before this second period comes to a close. Once that first goal breaks that 0-0 tie, it just seems to just open the floodgates. Maybe the floodgates, but just opens the door, and it's just like, okay, let's play hockey. Let's now get some goals here. So I still like the over 3.5. That's why I put it at early at plus money. I don't think it ever did get down to 2.5, or I forgot to check. But 1-0 Carolina. What do you think?
Yeah, it did not get to 2.5, and right now, if we get another minute of scoreless play, it's going to be back to over 3.5 plus money because it's minus 110 right now. So another minute here without a goal, and if you want over 3.5 plus money, you can get it. That's the beauty of the in-game betting. I don't know. I think Carolina getting the first goal actually leads me to believe that you're right, that we will get an over. I think, if Florida ties this thing here before the period, for sure we're getting an over. If Carolina gets another goal this period, wow, 2-0 lead, they're going to sit back and just try to hold on and protect, which means Florida's going to open it up and go, listen, we don't want to go back to Carolina. Let's get this thing going and, get a goal or two. So I think your thinking is right on the over. I just got a text from everybody. It's 5-0 Diamondbacks over the Pirates now. I mean, that one was just so on. I mean, it's but they're
Look at the
big
over/under on that one.
7.5.
Yeah, it's 5-0 in the 6th inning, and they're giving you 7. That's 3 runs. I was thinking it was 2 runs. It is 3 runs, but still, it's under the 9.5. You know, when you hear 5 to start, you're like, well, my under's dead, right? But that's actually looking good.
Yeah, I think
Pittsburgh
we're
has
good.
a hit, right?
Yeah, I think we're good. 8.5, 9.5 is what it was pregame, and that 8.5 was right after it started, and they had no runs in the first inning. So that's looking good. Diamondback starter pitching. Ryan Nilsson's still in. He's given up 4 hits, has 4 Ks, no walks. Pirates have 4 hits. That's it. 4 hits. O'Neal Cruz, McCutchen, Canario, and Frazier. Okay, no real threat. So that's looking good. That one is an under. I think the hockey game's an over. What's the total in the basketball game right now?
Let us see.
245.5.
Getting there. It's getting there.
Close, yeah.
We were saying in the break, and it's true, Dave. You don't appreciate these guys hitting these shots. Like I was watching most of the hockey, and I just turned the basketball on, and I watched for 30 seconds, and I saw 3 threes. 1, boom, 2, boom, and back again. I mean, you just think, okay, well, they're not playing any defense, and this is bad basketball. But, it's not like they were playing great in-your-face defense, but there was a guy there. These guys can all hit these shots, and you don't appreciate it until you watch a game like last night when you see Indiana go 5 of 25, and you realize these threes are not automatic. That's a long shot. But these guys are so good, kind of reminds me of me in my heyday. They hit their shots. I mean, you got to give them credit. So we got 115 points, and we still got 3.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter.
Where was your spot on the floor in your heyday? Were you a top of the key guy, or were you in the corner knocking them down, or where were you? Right corner.
Not in the corner, but between the top of the key and the right corner, like that corner.
The wing.
95.
The
wing
on the right side. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little free throw line extended. Yeah.
Just off the elbow. Okay. Just off the elbow that way. Okay. All right. On the right side. You're right-handed? When you shoot,
right-handed.
You dribble?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Always on the right.
Good. I was dead center of the key. Just give me the top of the key. I like to be straight on. That was my spot. Yeah. And I was a point guard, so I used to give up the ball and then just kind of stand out there and wait. And then by the time I got to be a sophomore, I couldn't get the shot up over the guys. I stopped growing and everyone else kept growing. So it just got too hard to take shots. I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to just concentrate and play hockey full time in the winter now. I love playing basketball, but it wasn't for me. I couldn't get no shots off. It was fun to be a defensive specialist for a little while, but you didn't get much playing time if you couldn't put the ball in a basket.
Right. That's kind of tough. If you can't dribble and you can't shoot, it's kind of hard to be a basketball player, even at the high school level. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But at baseball, that's kind of what happened to me, except mine was baseball. I was really good in baseball, so I gravitated to baseball. Even though I love playing basketball, I really did. But that's growing up where I grew up. This is not like city streets where there's courts all over the place and you could practice your dribbling and this and that. My backyard. That was basically it. So nowadays you got all kind of camps and AAU stuff, and we didn't have any of that stuff when we were growing up. I didn't. No. I had a backyard with a grass backyard shooting baskets by myself. That's it. That was my practice,
We walked around with a basketball the whole summer. I mean, I dribbled a basketball from the time I was a little kid. We took a basketball and a boom box to the court, just played basketball all summer until we had to go to the field and play baseball. We played all the sports. I mean, growing up, it was just one sport to the next, to the next, to the next. The specialization now for kids, I feel bad. Like, when I coach girls, and, there were other softball coaches that told them you can't play any other sports. And I encourage it. I'm like, play volleyball, play basketball, learn how to do all that stuff. You become a much better athlete, I think. So, yeah, it's a different time. It's just, it's a different time. Youth sports are a complete business now, man. I feel bad for families, right? Like you see it, you go referee and you see these games. Woo, it's an expensive deal, man.
Yeah. from out of state and everything else. I mean, they're traveling all over the country to play these goofy games. They don't think their kids are going to be pros. It's like, no, man. I know you think that, but it's it's not how you can't tell a parent that, though, right? They got to learn by themselves, for themselves. Somewhere along the line, they'll realize, all right, it stops here. To be talented enough to be in the pros, it's just like you have to just be given a gift. We were laughing over the weekend. There's this Colorado pitcher. I forget his name. Dave, he can't be 5 feet tall and weigh more than 110 pounds. I swear to God. And yet he can throw the ball 95 miles an hour. How is that possible? This guy is like, forget Pedro Martinez. He's like half the size of Pedro. And yet he was given the gift of being able to throw the ball 90, 95 and make it into the pros. I mean, I am a firm believer that you can work as hard as you want and everything. You just have to be given that gift. Some guys do have it.
Well,
other guys,
and a lot of times you're given the gift. You have to work to earn it, and bring it out too.
Absolutely,
right? You don't just show up and do it. So it's a credit to somebody like that who actually got to make it, because you have to be so gifted and work ethic and lucky. Right? You don't have to. You have to stay healthy. You have to be put in the right position on the way up and get in the right teams and different things, like get with the right coaches. It's fascinating. I mean, as a dad who had, 2 girls get to play at the collegiate level, it's fascinating to watch how hard the road is. And, you put in all that work and it don't always work out. That's the other thing. I mean, you got to keep going. It's kind of like the show. Like, we don't win all the bets, but we keep showing up and it works out okay. Yeah.
Still 1-0. NBA is 62-54. So Oklahoma City's maintaining that. Minnesota makes their runs, but they get it down to like 4 or 5, and then OKC pushes it back up to 8 or 9. So that's where it stands now. 8-point lead, 62-54. We're at 245.5. I'm waiting for it to get to 250, and then I'm going to go under. We'll see if it does. You're basically asking for. They got to get at least, I would say, 10 more points. So you're at 116. So you're at 126. If they maintain the 145.5, you're looking for about 120 points second half. Right on the cusp of going under, but I won't go in. Pan Storm coming up next.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
does. They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take
that is incorrect. The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's not so. There were 2 perfectly rated quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division, to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. So looks like Carolina's going to kill off another power play, at least until the end of this second period. They got about 15 seconds. Florida will start the third if it gets there. So 1-0 Carolina. 3.5 is now heavily juiced to the over at plus 162, and they're favored by 230. And we got the baskets, OKC and Minnesota. OKC maintaining a 7-point lead. So let's talk a little pucks, a little NBA, a little baseball as well with a good buddy, Cam Stewart, who takes over at the top of the hour along with Gabe Morency. What's going on, Cam? Watching a little pucks, I imagine. And by the way, we finally found someone that's on Carolina. We always knew we could count on you to find the one guy that is going to be on the other side. Congratulations, Cam, it's you. And you're looking smart right now.
Relax, Scott. We're not even close to being done. Don't congratulate. Talk to me when it's final. It's like owning Mahoney when he's winning $75,000 a hand, and the pit boss is like, Mahoney's taking us to the cleaners. He goes, talk to me at 4 a.m. It's not over.
Right.
We got a third period. The guy like gamblers are gamblers. Hey, here's the thing: is Florida a better team? Yes, but if you really watch the series, you'd think that they've owned like 90% of like the play. That's not true at all. If you watch these games, these scores are not indicative. Carolina's actually played well. Sergei Bobrovsky's been standing on his head, and I'm on him tonight. Maybe I can get one win. And I made a bet, guys, and this is just simply due to numbers. They win tonight, they go back and win again. So you take them at plus 710. So if they win 2 games in the series before this game, I got plus 710. You're telling me they can't lose in 6? They go back home and win a game and then lose in 6 in Florida, right? Is that like can they win 2 games? Yeah. If they win tonight and win one more game, it's like over 7-1. I had to do it. Who knows? Maybe they can find it. If they find a way tonight, get a little bit of confidence, steal another game. It's a 3-2 series. We've seen crazier things happen. I get it. Florida's really good, but I didn't expect Florida to be up 3-0 going into this game. And you know what it is, Scott and Dave? I'm a stubborn person, but I also know one thing. In hockey, it's hard to sweep. And some of these guys have pride. And they're not going to go, they're not going to go out without a fight. And Ron Brittamore and these guys are going to at least, you know what I mean? They might be beat up, but they're coming back and they're going to land some punches in this spot. So I'm on Carolina. There's really no point in doing anything more. I don't know. Obviously I got a great number at the start. Minus 1.5 if they get an empty netter. I'd look at that at plus 182. I'm hope it's there tonight, but Florida's still dangerous. And for all the people, I wouldn't hesitate to take the Panthers plus 172 on my FanDuel account live. I'm not doing it because I'm on Carolina, but that's a great number for a team that is at home and they're down 1 goal. So I look at things from both perspectives, right? I'm going to take Carolina minus 1.5, but some smart gamblers will take Florida at plus 1.5. And if they come back and win, God bless you. Gabe, you talk about it. We bet numbers. And if you're going to give me 7-1 on a team that can win 2 games in a hockey series, I'm taking it. I don't care who it is. Like to me, it's a blind bet. I'm doing it.
Makes perfect sense. I want to ask you about the other series in the West because Edmonton, they took control of the series pretty good. They look great. They're up 2-1. Tomorrow night, they're minus 160, 165 in places. Is Dallas done in that series?
I don't think they're done, Dave, but I'm in a really weird situation, and I was on a couple other shows on Memorial. By the way, happy Memorial Day to you guys. And we were talking about this series. Edmonton has led and scored the first goal in every single game in this series. Dallas, you can't afford to do this anymore. Like, you got to come out and score goals. I'm thinking I have Dallas 12-1 futures, and I have them with another ticket as well. This was my bet at the start. I had Dallas like midway through the season, even before start of the season. They were one of my picks to win the Stanley Cup. I have that ticket in my back pocket. Right now, I can't lay, they're plus 270 in the series, so whatever. I can't lay the juice with Edmonton because I'm taking away too many profits. I need Dallas, and the minute if they tie up that game, guys, I'm on Edmonton, and I'll hedge my losses. I don't care. You know, sometimes you have to look and say, can Edmonton win this series? You damn right they can. All their guys are playing great. Nugent Hopkins is on fire. All of them are on fire. Skinner has confidence. Ottinger doesn't look the same. They're hanging him out to dry, too. Like, Dallas's defense has been really leaky. Like, it's not just the goaltending. Guys aren't coming back. Let's give Edmonton credit. McDavid looks amazing. All their stars are showing up. Their fringe players are showing up. They've been physical. But I think Dallas understands one thing. Edmonton goes up 3-1. This series is over. I think it's a must-win game for the Dallas Stars tomorrow. They didn't play too bad on the road that last game. It got away from them. I will be on Dallas. But the minute they win, I gotta get something with Edmonton, guys. Like sometimes we do the math. If you're going to win a few $1,000, I don't want to be hanging there like before, like I did with the Leafs, because of my fandom costing me money and whatever. Like I'm not going to be in that situation. I need plus money. I think Dallas shows up tomorrow. I think the first period is vital for them. They can't continue to give Edmonton cushions. And I think the Dallas Stars got one more kick at the can. They'll tie up the series. I'll click Edmonton in the series price, and then I'll see where the pucks fly. But that's what I'm doing in that game. Also take them in the first period. I think they need to come out hot.
They've given up the first goal, not only all three in this series, guys. At 13 of their 16 playoff games this year. I mean, obviously they've been able to overcome it because they wouldn't be here, but still, I mean, that is like 13 out of 16.
Yeah, it's almost like when, a game Steve Merrill talks about, Ketchuk falling night. Florida's had the lead in all these games too. And tonight I'm on Carolina. Like I know it's hard to get in front of something, but I think this is where it ends for these guys. DeBoer understands. If you give Edmonton a lead at home again with that awesome fan base, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. You have to come out there and you have to dictate play early. There's going to be a wave of about 2 to 4 minutes where they're going to get blitzkrieged. And I'm going to tell you, if they get through it and score the first goal, things could be a little bit different. But I'll tell you guys, we've seen this Edmonton Oilers team before. They look like they can win the Stanley Cup. I'm not even going to, they look different.
You think about it, guys, outside of the third period in game 2, it's been Edmonton that's dominated every single period.
I know this sounds crazy. Edmonton has dominated Dallas more than Florida's dominated Carolina. And I've watched every single script of every game. The scores are not indicating. Like Edmonton is dominating these guys. Carolina just has no puck luck. Until tonight, they got one good goal. Like they could be up 3 or 4 goals. Bobrovsky standing on his head. So we'll see what happens, guys. I'm on that. Give me the Minnesota Timberwolves. What are they live? What am I getting? 6.5? That's good enough for me. I'm getting 7.5. I'll take it. Thank you. That's what I'm doing live. I don't think this game is over by any stretch. I did the Minnesota 3-step tonight, Dave. So far, 1-1. I won with the women's hockey in the Frost, but the Twins let me down. Yeah, never do a Minnesota. Too many steps. St. Paul, Minneapolis.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
does.
They
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
It is incorrect. He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take
no, I'm not doing that. The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round pick
were 2
who didn't even play good.
Quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid. Final segment. Thanks again to Cam Stewart. Takes over along with Gabe Morency at the top of the hour. No doubt following all the hockey, NBA, and a couple baseball games that are going on. Hockey's in between the second and third. NBA's in at halftime as well. So we get the baseball, Dave. And then obviously by the time we get on the air tomorrow, although we'll have time to break it down a little bit, but I do love the Indiana Pacers tomorrow. I think the worst case scenario happened for the New York Knicks. I do. Here's why. There's really three reasons. One, Karl Anthony Towns is not going to do what he did. He hasn't done that his entire career. So that was an anomaly. The chances of him stepping up big time in a clutch moment, it's not happening 2 times in a row. Indiana's not going 5 of 25 from 3, 2 games in a row. And the biggest concern, well, those are the 2 bigger ones, I suppose. But the other one is Josh Hart. He's been invisible. Took 3 shots yesterday. Now, I know they were going gaga on TV like he had this great game. Oh, my goodness, Josh Hart, dopey Reggie Miller. The guy played almost 40 minutes, and he took 3 stinking shots. I mean, you're not going to win that way. 34 minutes, to be fair. But 3 shots, if you watch the game, he was deferring. He was afraid to shoot. Guy is afraid. He's got the yips right now. So I don't think they're going to be able to duplicate all that stuff. So I think the Pacers win.
I don't know. I initially thought what you're thinking, but man, the Pacers have to just completely dismiss what happened in Game 3. Like you're right as far as what the Knicks did, but they blew a 20-point lead at home. I don't know.
It was an early 20-point lead, though.
I know,
it
but
was.
Still, what are we doing? What are we doing? You had an opportunity to put them away 3 games to none. And be kind of not cruising, but hey, we're gonna actually do this. We're actually gonna go to the NBA Finals. I think the seed of doubt is there, so I wouldn't say it's done yet. I don't think Indiana just wins easy tomorrow. They may win, they may cover. That's fine. I'm more interested. Do you think the Dallas series goes more than 5 games? I mean, Edmonton wins Game 4, and then wins Game 5, or no? It goes 6 or more.
Well, let me say this real quickly with Cleveland, with Indiana. They lost Game 3 to Milwaukee, up 2-0. They lose Game 3. They win Game 4 at Milwaukee, 129-103. Up 2-0 against Cleveland. Lose Game 3. Win Game 4, 129-109. So I'm not saying they're going to win by 20 points, but they've been down this road before. I'm with Cam. I think Dallas wins tomorrow. And in a lot of ways, there's nothing that says they should. They're 2-5 on the road, Dave, and they've been outscored. Get a load of these numbers. They've been outscored on the road this postseason, 28-10. I mean, that is just horrible.
Yikes.
But they're better than what they've shown. They beat Edmonton 2 out of the 3 regular season meetings. It's a 5-5 last 10, but now it's 6-5 Edmonton. Last 11 games between these teams over the last 3 years. It's really a 50-50. It's a toss-up. So I don't think a team is good enough to be up 3-1 in this series. I'll take my chances with Dallas tomorrow.
Okay. I like Edmonton, and I think Edmonton's really positioning themselves to win the Stanley Cup. Despite what happens in the East, Florida looks like the best team. Yes, they're the odds-on favorite. Yes, I get all of that. But I really like what I'm seeing from Edmonton. We'll see more tomorrow. I mean, if Dallas wins the game tomorrow, it's tied 2-2 with Dallas have home ice, and we have a hell of a series, and the Eastern Conference team automatically becomes the favorite because that means the Western Conference series goes longer. So we'll see the prices adjust for that. Boy, the Pirates still haven't scored. I was hoping they scored by now. It's 5-0, middle of the 7th, Diamondbacks. Marlins lead 3-2 over the Padres. And the Angels are leading 1-0, middle of the 2nd inning. Captain Chalk, George, was on all over the Angels.
Yeah. How rare is that? If George is on the underdog, then that's a live underdog. So,
yeah.
But I told you that the Angels they play well against the Stankies for whatever reason. Yeah. Good, bad, or indifferent. So, nice to see the Padres score a couple of runs, too, by the way. They were down 3-0.
Hamburger or hot dog for Memorial Day? Which one do you prefer if you could only have one?
Oh, definitely burger. I like sausage, too. That's not part of the equation, but I would go hamburger, sausage, hot dog. But all 3, corn on the cob, anything on the grill, except steak. I don't like steak on the grill. I like my steak in the oven. Yeah. Yeah.
wow.
I like.
Okay.
I need it in the oven.
Who knew?
I could control it. Yeah. Well, you know what? You put it on a plate. I want to eat a steak with a nice restaurant, a bottle of wine. Let's go OKC, our Black Cloud play of the day.